What do I do all week?
Okay, Kathy, are you ready?
Oh, I prepare for this.
Good evening.
I prepare for women's ministry, and I prepare
It
for
is
something else.
6:03, and we're going to call the meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council to order. We do have a quorum present. Thanks, everybody, for attending this evening. Tina has offered to give our invocation. Tina, thank you. You bow with me.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this day asking for your blessing and your help to make wise decisions for this community. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask you clearly show us the way. We ask you in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please join for our pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. All right, if the council has had the opportunity to look through the minutes of the August 8th, 2022 meeting, the special meeting on August 22nd, the August 2022 financials, and as well you see Teacher Day proclamation that I had been approached by, and we're recognizing that tonight as well. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I so move.
Sherilyn, motion.
I second.
Harold, second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Thank you. With that, will this record for us? So I think the first thing I'd add, and of course a lot of us up here graduates of Mount Vernon ISD, but I was class of '87. I had both my boys graduated there as well, and a mom that was a teacher for 25 years and retired. So we've been approached. October 5th is actually the proclamation date, but since we don't have a meeting between now and then, I wanted to take the opportunity tonight at City Council to recognize our teachers. And so I'll read the proclamation, and this is actually going to get shared with the school, which is, I think, is pretty cool. So, whereas Mount Vernon's future strength depends on providing a high-quality education to all students, and whereas teacher quality matters more to student achievement than any other school-related factor, and whereas teachers and countless hours preparing lesson plans and supporting students, and whereas our Mount Vernon ISD teachers have demonstrated great resilience, adaptability, and creativity during the COVID-19 crisis, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community, and whereas #TeachersCan is a statewide movement supported by more than 125 partnering businesses and organizations committed to elevating the teaching profession and honoring the critical role teachers play in the success of Texas. And now therefore be it resolved that the City of Mount Vernon City Council joins #TeachersCan and its partnering entities across Texas in celebrating World Teachers Day and proclaims October 5th, 2022 to be Mount Vernon Teachers Day. And be it further resolved that the City Council encourages members of our community to be a light for Mount Vernon teachers and personally express appreciation to our teachers and display a light blue ribbon outside your homes or businesses the week of October the 5th as a symbol of support for our educators. And it is, you think about it, you sign up to be a teacher and then you have a pandemic start and you have to figure out how to teach all these kids of all ages, right, that learn, and many of them have learning disabilities, and it's hard enough doing it in person and you're asked to do it from home. But it is pretty cool what teachers endured through and kept kids on track. So I think this, when they reached out to me, I thought this was nice that take a chance to one more time to pat teachers on the back. And again, I was raised by one, so I can appreciate all the time they spend at night getting ready for lesson plans, and it's hard enough when you can see your kids in person, much less over a video recorder. So, moving on. items of community interest. I'll have just first comment there is our Tigers are undefeated. It was a tough game Friday where they had a lot of injuries, unfortunately, but school's getting off to a good start, and it's good to see all the kids and their families coming out tonight for a parade. I think all week is homecoming week celebration, but we've got an awesome school, and it's fun to see them coming out and have some fun tonight. And I was a class of 87, like I mentioned, so it's our 35-year reunion coming up. It's hard to believe the years fly by. But anyway, we're getting older. Does anybody have some other items of community interest they'd like to share?
I'd just like to talk about, there was an incident report on social media where there was a bicycle accident with a kid going to school. And I just think we ought to maybe think about that road. It's not a high traffic road. It is a little bit of a high traffic road, but it's where Miller turns into Leftwich, and there's kind of a blind, Franklin, sorry. It's kind of a blind corner there, and it narrows where the runoff water, storm drain water comes from. And just maybe think about what we might do to that road. Maybe talk to the residents up and down that road or whatever about just blocking the middle of that road off right there where it bottoms out at. Just we can put a barricade there, and it's a one-way road now. Kind of dead ends, traffic can come in, residents can still come in, but it's not a through street anymore. And there's about 8 other streets that go east-west between Yates and the other road, so it's not keeping anybody from being able to move. But it gets really narrow when you think about kids on bicycles up and down that road, and it's got some places that it drops off pretty dramatically, the grade is. So I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but something to maybe consider and think about maybe for future doing something on that road. Maybe get with the city maintenance guys and find out, I don't know what the legal process is to do that, but just think about that. I've got kids on bicycles, and that's kind of in my neighborhood, and I live 2 blocks over, but still we don't want to hear in the newspaper about somebody hitting a kid accidentally. So
I think it's a good suggestion. And too, we can ask first responders, Ricky and the ambulance crews too, if you block a street, is that something, make sure that we're not causing any safety for traffic movement along in there. But I think it's a good idea. That is a tough spot right there.
I have also heard a lot of complaints about speeding through there. That may be something else that needs to be looked at.
well, that's what makes it so bad is it's a blind corner, and they're going along it fast. And if a kid's coming the other way on a bicycle, you're never going to see him.
Yep.
I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when something could possibly happen on that road.
Yes.
It's a bad spot.
Yeah.
Good suggestion. I'm glad the citizen brought it up too. I had not seen that. Anything from our guest we might have missed on community interest you'd like to share?
I'll share something real quick.
Yeah, come on, Mark.
If you don't mind my attire, I just got back from physical therapy. I'm in a little bit of a surly mood. Just kidding.
So I don't know if you're aware of it or not. I know you're probably aware of it, but Colin Clasby, I call him Mr. Mount Vernon because he does so many things here in Mount Vernon. Went through a fire academy that, if you're not aware of it or not, which I wasn't, then I looked it up because I didn't believe him, but it's one of the top-ranked fire academies in the United States in Sulphur Springs, and he just passed that, and we had a celebration for him for that. But anyway, our head of the fire department has passed his fire academy.
Yep.
So anyway, and I'm just giving a shout out to Colin Clasby for finishing that, and actually finishing at the top of his class in it too. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, they've actually asked him to be one of the teachers to come back and on days off to actually teach some of those classes over there. So he impressed that group over there. Great guy. And our fire department just continues to improve and grow, and the talent that we've got is really amazing. How many folks are certified firemen and how many more are actually going through fire academy right now. There's several are. So nice shout out. All right. Well, we will move along. Citizen participation. I don't think we have anybody signed up for citizen participation, so we'll move on to our public hearing. It is 6:12. I'll open the public hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to hear evidence for or against the 2022 proposed tax rate of 0.54656. Mark, you okay? Okay. And the 2022-2023 proposed budget. On the tax rate, can't, I'm sorry.
This is public.
Catch that, yeah.
This is public.
I would do that. Would anybody like to speak at the public hearing? All right, it is 6:13. We'll close the public hearing. See if I can do this before this. Sorry, you can't.
You've got to do the budget first.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so item number 2, consider and act upon approval of adopting the 2022-2023 budget. I know we'll have a little bit of discussion here too, just to make sure everybody's clear on some of the shifts since the special meeting 2 weeks back. Tina, you have anything you'd like to add at this point?
All right, I sent you, and I've got you copied right here in the front. The changes I just did it, highlighted the ones on page 1 and 3. Those are the only changes that I made from the last meeting. Sales tax, I took it down, it was $796. I took it down to $739,357. Also on 014006 on trash revenue, I took that up to $505,000. Also 4008, the sales tax on garbage and trash, I put it up to $30,000. And these are just minor things, most of them, just to get this budget balanced. 4019 building permits, I took it up $1,000 to $29,000. We're already at 28.6 right now. We've got one more month left. And we just got another permit in today, I think Logan's Point. Yeah. They're gonna do, I think, $4 million worth of improvements out at Logan's Point. So that's gonna be a big increase.
Does that mean adding units? Is it
No,
adding
I
units?
think it's improvements. They'll redo apartments, I guess.
It's remodeling.
Remodeling,
Okay.
yeah. And then the plumbing permits, 4019B, I took that up to 1,700. And this is revenue. And then on page 3, since we had more expenses, I took out a building permits for the city hall. I took that down to $10,000, it was 12. 510012 legal services, I had 16,000, I took it down to 13,000. And school, that's 042. School and training, it was 5,000, I took it down to 3. And that's the only changes I made from the last city council meeting. Which are, because we were over in general fund, we're in the black now, $845. And the rest of them I've left alone. That utility fund is 181 in the red, because EDC, we only took 500,000 from the EDC. And then there's hotel motel and EDC. But that's the only changes I've made since the last meeting.
From a revenue perspective, does anybody have any questions from a revenue side?
And the mayor asked me to, general fund, I don't know if I've ever explained it, I just assume people know. The general fund, that's these are the departments: administration, maintenance, fire department, police department, code enforcement, building, animal control, and, court and Main Street. And then like in the utility fund, it's just the water and sewer. So the general fund only gets like the sales tax, property tax, building permits, tickets, stuff like that.
So For the fire department, did we choose to recognize any revenue for, where we're now going to be billing insurance companies when we,
That's on page one, the 014031. It's fire call fees.
oh,
I
okay,
put 35,000.
okay.
He thought it might be 40, but we weren't quite sure since it's
Now,
our first
This what? Fire call fees?
fire
or what?
call. Yes, we will. Our new software will charge, like if you have a wreck out on the interstate,
Yeah.
they will charge your insurance company.
Okay.
And I think it's mostly just for wrecks. I mean, vehicle. Yeah, if they have insurance.
What about if there's a house fire? Does it not
I
do
don't think
anything
they're.
for fires?
I don't think they're going to do that yet.
Okay.
They may later, but I don't think so yet.
Okay, all right.
Because really it's mostly for working traffic while
I'm sorry. What?
they're working traffic.
Yeah, just
Right.
more traffic.
Okay.
And that's when the police get all the information and stuff like that on wrecks and stuff.
They started their training this week.
You
That
said
was
it's
part of
called
this.
fire
Oh, did they?
calls?
Yeah, last week, I'm sorry. Thursday.
I know I think he's got his new software, does he? He's been trying to work out all the kinks.
Fire calls are on the next
I think
Oh, right.
now.
Here we go.
We didn't do that at all.
We just,
We just started that, right?
we just started.
Yeah, we haven't collected anything yet.
So, are we gonna take each one of these, or
You
just
can-
the general fund at this
you can
point?
You can ask me anything, because we've got to approve this tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I have questions about this EDC piece here.
Okay.
Because that $1 million expense
Mhm.
isn't coming out of their current budget, it's coming out of funds that have been pigeonholed for better.
Well, EDC's on page 27.
Mm-hmm.
I have $1 million out here
For the transfer, right?
budgeted. I just have it in infrastructure right now. I show in the utility fund 500,000, because I know at the last meeting y'all talked about us paying for a project and them paying for a project. So, that's on page 16. I show $500,000.
Right, and I understand that, but
Okay.
what I'm getting at for the EDC, that $1,000, we're really not using it out of their current budget. It's coming from cash, because here at the end of August, they've already got $1.6 million in their budget. And it's from those funds that we're going to be taking this $1 million, not from the budget that's going to be passed for 22, 23.
You have to budget to spend it though, or
Yeah,
you can't
no,
spend it.
it's in 2023.
But how can you spend it if you're not recognizing that you're going to be using the income from a previous period?
Well, you're just showing the revenue.
Because to me, this is a misstatement that the EDC is going to be $842,000 in the red.
No, I mean, it's just showing that in the proposed budget. I have EDC. I show unencumbered fund right now, $1.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then I show revenue is 396 we're gonna bring in, and then $1 million expenses, let's just say,
So,
$1 million.
so,
So we would have, they would still have $769,000 after, I mean, if we,
right, but what I'm saying is this million that we have here is from those unencumbered funds. So do we not need to show the unencumbered funds? I mean,
Yes.
it's not revenue, but don't we need to show it in the budget somehow?
yes, I will this is kind of just more for your information. I don't show that to the public. I'm just
Okay.
showing revenue and expenses,
It's
but,
changed so many times, we didn't do a final because we didn't know what you
Yeah.
were going to do.
yeah,
Right, I
So
understand
you
that.
can get the final after y'all make a decision.
yeah. And I do show, this is kind of my example. I show unencumbered funds this year, and then it'll show in the budget. I just hadn't finalized the
I
budget
see,
yet.
okay, so what you're saying, anything that was unencumbered from 21, 22,
Yes.
it will show up in this next, it will
Yes.
show up in the budget, so in essence, we won't be in the red in the utility fund, and we won't be in red in the EDC fund,
It's just unencumbered fund.
or in the hotel motel tax,
Right.
Correct, it's carried over unencumbered funds.
okay.
So, go ahead.
Because even hotel motel, I show unencumbered funds as of next year about $42,000.
Okay, so in those hotel motel funds, we distributed so much money last, for this 21, 22 budget. If they have not submitted their receipts to get reimbursed by the end of our fiscal year, are they just out of luck, or do they still get it?
But I think everybody has,
I think
the
that
chamber was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, they have done
usually
it.
with them, there's only like 5 or 6. I kind of call them to remind them because it's once a year. I think
Yeah.
Gay is one of them.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Sorry.
So so the unencumbered funds will show up in the finalized budget, and nothing will appear to be in the red. Okay,
And this is more, yeah, your information.
okay.
Mark, did you have a question, I think?
Well, no, I just was kind of asking the accountant over here, but what I'm trying to understand is, like, last time when we left, we were thinking that, you know, we were going to pay for part of that water tower. And it reflects in the budget what we said we were gonna do, pull 500 here, leave 500 there. But then, where did we come up with the money? Because it was my understanding that this was gonna be like a negative $300 and something thousand, the only way we could get it to spend it to fix the water tower. So where does that show in here that we're fixing the water tower at?
It's from the utility funds.
It's in utility fund. Page 16 is showing that EDC money coming in of $500,000.
Okay,
That's
so
the-
what
that's-
about the press then?
That's the revenue.
So we're using the EDC funds to take care of the water tower,
Yeah, just one of the
Yeah,
items.
one of the items, yeah.
right?
And
And then
then-
the press, where does it come in? Because those were our two big expenditures.
It's on page 21. And under capital, 021. $530,000. That's $500,000 for the belt press and
I'm just trying to make the numbers match in my head, why we're only $845 in the black, and yet we thought we were gonna be $376 negative.
Well, you're on a different, that's not the same fund.
Oh, so it was in a different fund.
Yeah, this is your taxes. This is the utility fund of your
Got it,
water.
I'm clear.
Questions, y'all, everybody needs to be comfortable, for sure, that's got things in the right spot. Keep the questions coming, that way we can all feel
And-
comfortable.
all during the year, you can amend the budget. We can always amend. You have to have a public hearing and approve it. So anything, we want to change later, we can.
Or if something comes up.
Yeah, or if something comes up unexpectedly or.
I would add too, I know the EDC piece, we've talked about a few times, the amount of money that's sitting there is $1 million, as was the capital expenditure we decided on. It doesn't really matter what line item it's on, it's saying that we're budgeting $1 million potentially for, some for infrastructure, it could be some for a special project that Chairman Saxton and the team may bring to us. It doesn't mean the money's spent. right? So we are saying we're gonna need $500,000 for a belt press or that's where that's coming from. But the rest of it's budgeted there, doesn't mean the money has to be spent. No, but it is there for us to be, entrepreneurial with the right project, and or we may decide we need to do some more at the wastewater plant or with some of our water lines that we've highlighted that have lead exposure potentially. So it gives us some flexibility there, knowing that we have got to find access to some funds, and it's a very tough economic environment and a high interest rate environment now on top of that, unfortunately. But doesn't mean the money's spent. This is just us saying we've got a plan and approving a budget, and you could have nothing sitting on as an expenditure in EDC and have to come back and do budget amendments, but it's really just push-ups that aren't necessary. Money's not gone until it's got a good cause, in other words, so
Okay.
put to work in the right manner. Harold, do you have anything from your perspective, or Sherilyn? Questions from that end?
Not on that.
How often do we receive our sales tax?
Sales tax,
Uh-huh.
monthly.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Does EDC get theirs
Yes.
monthly?
Mhm.
Okay, so sales tax is monthly, okay.
Yeah, and, propose they'll get about, almost $400,000 this year. 396.
Okay.
And I can remember serving on EDC when we were looking at budgeting for 120, 125, and then it's just steadily grown,
Yeah.
but it's,
So spend local. Spend
well, that's
locally.
exactly right.
Yeah, that's right.
Our strategy of trying to encourage people to come to Mount Vernon to do business and support their county seat has worked and continues to. Y'all good from?
I'm good.
So if we don't have any other questions or comments, we need a motion to approve the adoption of our 2022-2023 budget.
I'll
that we
make a
started
motion
the
to
process in
approve.
May. Have a motion from Mary,
Second.
and a second from Harold. All in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
Thanks for great work, everybody. I know it's been a tough one.
Any nays?
They always are.
No, I mean, are there any no votes?
Are there any nays? I'm sorry, any nays? No nays. It was unanimous. Okay, item number 3. Consider and act upon approval of ordinance 2022-08, setting the ad valorem tax rate of 0.54656. I want to just share a little bit of background here too. I had to miss the meeting 2 weeks back, and I appreciate you guys covering base. Mark, thanks for leading the meeting. At the time, we've had turnover at the tax office, so there's a little bit of confusion around the calculation, and we were asked to include our sales tax into the calculation for our ad valorem tax rate, which was an error. So as it turned out, we have the ability to consider a lower rate, which is I've suggested the voter approved rate, which is 0.54. Where's my number again? 656. I'm going to say it wrong. 0.54656. So that's an improvement of from the last meeting, from 58 cents down to 0.54656, and certainly want to help our citizens where we can here. We're all property taxpayers up here at the council, so we're all in this thing together. But I am proposing, and that's why we've got this on the agenda, to approve the voter approved minimum tax rate of 0.54656. But it is the move from the last meeting is due to an error in the calculation of the tax office. So it's a welcome error. It went the right direction instead of the wrong direction. So we would need a motion to approve the tax rate.
I'll make a motion.
Harold motions to approve. Need a second?
I'll second.
A second from Mary. All in favor of approving the tax rate?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all.
I have to report that.
Did you get it? Okay. Item 4, consider and act upon approval of ordinance 2022-09, water rates increase. Tina?
we just did the ordinance, we raised $2 on the minimum, each one of them, that's it. So it went from 23 to 25 on residential, 29, 35, 31, on business. Anyway, just $2.
Kathy, can I speak to that? I just want to say, I know that the citizens have seen 2 increase in water rates this year. I just want to point out that treating that water has gotten really expensive this year. That just the chlorine, the media was in budget for $30,000 last year. Yeah, and
Getting hard to get it.
right,
And they're charging you more.
right, and that when we went to buy the media, we were quoted $30,000, and when we bought it, it was $90,000. So I just want to point out that we're not trying to make money on water. We're trying to be able to make water. So,
Exactly.
so
Thanks for-
there's not, okay.
Thanks for the key points there. It is like everything in our lives, inflation is hitting us from every direction. Yeah. Thanks for highlighting that, Mark. So we need a motion to approve the water rate.
Approve.
Got a motion from Mark,
I second.
a second from Sherilyn. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 5, consider and act upon approval of the solid waste removal contracts with Sanitation Solutions. I think we probably thought we've already done this. This is just for finalizing the approval here. So
Yeah,
we
you just awarded it, but now it's the contract.
so we need a motion to approve the
Before we
wastewater.
approve it, as always, I got a comment.
Yeah.
In the past, with the past contracts, like when we first got the big waste thing that we got, it was proposed that, hey, we voted to have the waste canisters and pay for them, and they'd pick up whatever else trash we had. I was telling Harold this the other day. They used to pick up everything from my house, and then they quit. And I called the city, and I'm like, hey, why aren't they picking it up? They're supposed to. This happened 2 or 3 times to where one day they were picking it up and then wouldn't, and then would pick it up and then wouldn't. And I'm talking about bags outside the disposal. Yep. So I called up to the city again. They said, no, they don't do that anymore. And I'm like,
First Wednesday.
that's not what's in the contract. What this contract, because I read this contract every bit, it says they will pick up to 3 bags to 35 pounds in addition to the, well, I want to be clear on this, that when I call next time, because I'm going to, that it's in the contract that they have to pick this stuff up. Because,
You're talking about besides
yes,
the extra cleanup.
yes, besides the extra cleanup. Because I caught the garbage guy out there one time and we almost came to blows, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And he's like, my supervisor told me, I can't pick that up.
We'll get an answer about it.
So,
We'll get it clear.
Yeah, because bulk waste is considered like furniture and stuff like that. Are you
correct.
talking
It
about
says,
that?
no, it says 3 bags outside the canister, 30 to 35 pounds
Okay,
is what it says, outside of the canister. And it gives definitions for all of that.
I mean, that-
I'm getting excited. That's why it's.
not mine.
But I just want to point that out for other citizens. If they've gone through the same thing, this contract specifically addresses it. 3 bags, 30 to 35 pounds, that they'll pick it up. Because Harold's not going to get between me and another garbage guy.
They pick up my 9 bags.
They like you more than they do.
Understand
I'm going to start putting my
Alright.
trash on the other side of the road.
They picked up in the
So maybe we can find a way to help communicate the
Okay.
flexibility a homeowner has on which days allows extra bags, because that's a good heads up. Let's make sure that people understand that if there's a certain day or if it's every,
Well, and the other
Right.
point,
Wednesday,
What
you
is
can
the-
put out things like furniture or mattresses.
right, and it goes into all that, but
Bulk.
But the other point that I was talking to Harold and another citizen about, well, this kind of goes in with the burn ban thing, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but I won't.
There you are. I'm
But
ready for that.
I'm gonna let you take it, but I'm gonna start it for you. That there is nowhere to take limbs and trees and leaves and things. So just
Just because it's.
thinking
it's
outside,
just-
thinking
it's just
outside
put
the
on there
box
for
here.
y'all to discuss, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying, thinking outside the box here, the city lot up there does have a big yard where they do burn from time to time. Could it not be permissible from, maybe every other Saturday that they can just take limbs and bushes, and we can address that when we get there? Okay,
I'm with you. We are going to have discussion on that one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was requested by the fire
Yeah.
department, but y'all get the ultimate say.
We'll massage
Well, they're
it.
kind of tied together, so that's why I just wanted to bring it up now. Can you still hear me without my mic on? I
Yeah.
think I'm getting in other people's mics now, and we don't have feedback. Okay,
Share might be easier for
All right.
each of us to share.
perfect.
Tina Rose.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
good comments, and we will get clarity from that contract so that homeowners and businesses know if they got
We'll get a
flexibility,
straight
we'll
answer
get
tomorrow,
that.
and we'll tell you what that is.
And one last thing, I promise I'm done on this. There's a part in the contract that kind of states what the difference between bulk and bagged and all that is. Can we post that like on the city website or something that, hey, this is your new trash for the next 2 years. This is what bulk is, this is what bagged is, and that way people will know what they can put out there and what they can't.
Absolutely.
No tires, no refrigerators, that kind of thing.
We don't want the little news
So-
flash on the
Yeah.
website.
So do they pick up just limbs if you have them laying by your,
Well, it's all outlined in that contract if
Okay.
you read it, and that's why I'm wondering if we can maybe get Lily a copy of it or somebody, and we can get it posted. Okay.
Have a way to communicate just
Yeah,
what our
so people
contract
know.
does do.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
I wouldn't have known if I hadn't read the contract.
I wouldn't either.
you can't just drag a limb out there and expect them to pick it up, okay.
Okay,
Well, I never have that situation, but I was just asking because sometimes you just see limbs laying there with the leaves all over them and,
But we don't wanna pick up the whole tree.
right.
okay, so let's do the trash contract first, and we'll get on it. We'll have- This does relate into the other ordinance too, following it, but we do need a motion to approve the contract with Sanitation Solutions.
And
Motion.
Stan,
And a motion.
Stan has approved what is
He has
presented.
been read, yeah. So a motion
Motion.
from Mark.
I second.
From Sherilyn, all in favor?
Aye.
And those
Aye.
opposed?
Okay, this contract will not go into effect till April 1st, 2023.
When does it end?
4 years with a year extension.
So it expires in 2028?
I'll be
2025, right? Oh,
4 years.
oh, it's 4 years. I thought I heard 2 years.
You can't hardly get anybody to go less than 4 on the trash,
Okay.
after I dug into
And they
that,
put 5 in here.
we will go back to 4. Yeah.
4 with 1 year extension.
Do you have
Item-
a question here?
Oh,
You appoint your.
I was just thinking the rain's going.
okay, let's move on to
Miss
item
Candy
number
out there is
6.
gonna miss-
Item number 6 is, this is from our fire chief. Consider an act upon approval of amending ordinance 2022-10 on open fires.
Sit back, Harold.
Get excited. Tina, do you want to speak to this on what the changes proposed? Y'all got it. Everybody's got a copy of it.
So there's been an issue with, you're only supposed to burn vegetation grown on your property. Which means you can't burn tires, you can't burn tarps, you can't burn furniture, mattresses, whatever. And there have been a few people to do that. So the fire department wants to be able to go and inspect the pile prior to burning.
And they want it done Thursday
And
before
they
the
want it to do
weekend.
it on Thursday, so they want to inspect on Thursday, and then you can burn Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The only issue I have with that is sometimes people work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, it's not very
Yeah, or
flexible
what if it's
was
windy?
what I was gathering, that
Go ahead,
it,
Harold.
I agree.
go ahead, Harold, we're gonna let Harold
Here's
speak
the
to
deal.
this.
That hasn't been talked about in the past.
My thought is, if somebody is burning something they're not supposed to, and it causes a large fire, the police are gonna go anyway.
Yeah.
They can then address it, they weren't breaking the law.
You're right, and I'm too old school to really be on the city council, because if you're gonna put brush up against your damn house and burn it and burn the house down, it's on you. But this isn't in effect, you know,
No.
so technically the old burn permits are still in effect.
Yes.
So today, a lady called me and said they wouldn't give her a permit because it's not in effect. Now, that's fair enough to say that. And let me just be real honest, it was my sister, and nobody burns more wood than my sister. I don't know where she gets it.
I might
She gets a
contribute
burn
to her
permit
pile too.
every other week. I don't know, but she was told, no, you can't have one, because it probably will change it.
Yes.
And I think
That's not really, and I'm not being ugly here, that's not really the city's, should say that. She should have got that permit because it hadn't been passed.
Well,
that's.
The girls are in a hard spot because they're being
No,
told.
they're only in a hard spot because they're not getting directed. They
Well,
should
but
know,
they were
they
getting
should know
direction
that
from the
that's
fire
not in
department.
effect. Now, I've had, and I'm touched lightly here because I've known this lady's family my life, longer than you. This is not the first time. When she was in there talking to the lady at the screen, and she was informing her about it, there was another lady in there who was kind of chuckling about it. Now, she doesn't know if she was doing it, but I've had other complaints about rudeness, a little snobbery in there, and stuff. Now, I've dismissed most of it, but my sister, me and my sister, I know her. It's the first reliable source I would go by. And she felt a little small when she was in there, and like again, that lady behind there could have been at the class, at the back. You know, we need to be real careful. First of all, I'll say this to anybody in Washington D.C. or Austin or here. City people, we don't work for y'all. You work for the citizens. And never to be talked down to or extra about. And my sister's not an oversensitive person. I'm not at all.
Well, the reason Rebecca was laughing is because I was telling her to tell whoever it was, and I didn't know,
It's plenty good. Then she needs to go
That-
away and get
that
back to
this
something.
may not be the way it is.
Well,
come
she should
tonight
have
because
been,
y'all have the
she should have been
choice.
delivered, my point is, she should have been delivered a permit. That's not y'all's place to do that. And I don't mean to be ugly, but that's just like something Washington would do, and that's like something Austin would do.
I got a
Y'all aren't the
recommendation.
ramrods.
I got a recommendation. Why don't we table this one so we can do some work on it? We can talk to Colin about it. The
Yeah, I'm
previous
all in
rules
agreement.
are in effect.
I brought up the wood before,
Call
and,
your-
and you think it's not, now people live in the country, they don't worry about it. My friends from the Rainies, they burn piles, I would too. And again, my sister, damn, I don't know if she would, but still, it's a problem. I mean, it's a problem. She's got 15 or 16 trees in her yard. It's a problem, and she mows her dirt twice a day, twice a week. There's no damn grass there. She
Well,
mows her dirt twice a month.
I think we need to say that the old rules are in place until we get something
think we
new
do.
put
I think we
into
have to.
place.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
so,
we need to address it. It sounds like a Mickey Mouse
Well,
thing.
but I will say
But
this,
it's not.
what's currently in place is you can burn the last Saturday of the month, period.
Well, then you're gonna end up with a pile about this big, about third month that it's raining or
See,
wind blowing.
If y'all want to say they can burn
Whenever.
every day, y'all can make a motion
Well,
to do
you'd
that.
like to hope people's got sense enough not blowing burning a 60-mile-an-hour wind, and if we've got inner fire zone, there's no way they get the permit.
Well, burn bans.
See, I just throw my
Yeah, we
limbs
turn the burn
across the
bans
fence
into
into my neighbor's yard.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we just
So I don't worry about
we
it.
don't give out permits.
When the burn ban was on, we just didn't
We
let
can get it.
anybody
No,
burn.
and yeah, that's what you do.
Let me jump in here if I could, because I'm totally, you guys know me too. We're neighbors to Cindy, his sister. We both have burn piles all the time because we like to keep our places looking pretty. And that's what we want to encourage, is our citizens to keep their yards clean, keep their limbs cleaned up, burn the
She told
leaves,
us the mayor
whatever.
burns my-
I do. I get burn permits for her sometimes, and I go clean their stuff up. Yeah,
You can't compare to Cindy.
but I want to, I want us to get this massaged on. We need it to be massaged on because it doesn't need, the current one doesn't make sense either to me. So we'll get it massaged on, but the key thing is, calling in, we need to have something that they can help manage to the folks that are throwing tires and mattresses in the burn piles and the things that are a problem.
But they are already in violation because they're burning something that's not vegetation.
It's a totally different deal. It's
It is.
against the law to burn a mattress, right? And you get it, you should get a ticket.
That should
Yeah.
be, yeah.
So, but
I mean, let's be honest, they ruined our great burn pile at City Lake. So I saw it and thought, oh, yeah, this is over. And understood.
Because it gets out of hand.
It was great.
So we will, let's table this,
Okay.
okay?
A motion.
You're
Got a motion to table it.
You're gonna postpone
To
it.
postpone it.
Kills it.
Okay, let's not do
Postpone
that
it.
because we need to help Colin get something correct.
So I'm understanding you to say you want it to be what it is as it stands.
Well,
They
it
can
is.
burn the last Saturday of the month.
No changes today
Wait.
to the current,
It
Well,
only, you
issue
only
that-
burn the last Saturday of the month.
well, that's what it says on it. That's the
That's what the current ban is.
We
That's
just
not
all,
like you telling me there's no fishing in City Lake.
hey,
restrictions.
So who said there's no fish in the city
It's
lake?
not been enforced. It's not been enforced.
They have to get
I didn't know
permission
that.
from y'all.
I didn't know the city lake was no fishing.
Hey Harold, they give you permission to fish at the city lake.
I just push it across up, blow it in your yard.
Okay, I've got a motion from Harold to not table,
Postpone.
to postpone. I need a second.
I'll second.
Michelle, and to postpone. All in favor of postponing this, and we'll help Colin get this hammered out so it's something that's helpful to the fire department and good for the citizens too. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. All right. So on to item number 7. Consider and act upon approval of resolution 22-13 ballistic shield grant for the police department. Miss Leah, this is pretty much just giving you the go-ahead like you do to go after grants, right? There's no money from.
Yes, it's no match grant, fully funded. The officer and governor just opened it up, so it's just for.
One meeting.
I'm sorry.
Leah speaking, but
That's fine. So it's just for, rifle resistant shields. It's kind of like, so if there's ever an, active shooting at the school, hostage situation, each officer will have it on,
Gotcha.
rifle resistant shields if we get funded. Like I said, there's no match. It's fully funded.
thank you. And thanks for continuing to go after those things like y'all are doing now.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
What is the amount of this for the city?
I'm applying for $20,616 with this grant.
And no match required from the city, so this will be 100% grant.
Yeah. No
That
match.
was over how many officers?
20,606.
Officers.
Yeah, 7 officers.
Thank you, Leah. Need a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion from Mark,
Second.
second from Cheryl. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Nobody? Good. The band's coming, we gotta hurry, yeah. Consider and act upon approval of awarding bid for Highway 37 elevated storage tank rehabilitation. Lanny's here, and thankfully we had more companies than we anticipated bid, and the prices came in a little better even than what we hoped. So let's do this quick, because we're good to go.
So, pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here with the council and the mayor and Tina as well. What I've got before you today is the bid results of the elevated storage tank painting for Highway 37. There were 14 bidders on this project. The low bid came in at $326,348. The high bid was like over $668,000. So there's a fairly good spread there. This is, as you mentioned, below our budget, and we have checked out the contractor. We've worked with them before, and they've done a good job. So we feel they're qualified to do this work.
And we met with Lanny today for a couple hours. The one thing is, it's coming in below, but we do always have the watch out that there could be something as they get into that project that could. It's an old tower that hadn't been touched in 20 years. So anyway, good to see a better number
Right.
come in though.
Right, and actually what we're recommending is to award it with the bid alternate to get up to this point. So that's replacing the riser pipe. If we get in there and we realize the riser pipe doesn't need to be replaced, we'll take that out of the bid. And that's $62,000.
They come in and sandblast it first and look for.
Right, we'll sandblast it, look for holes, problems like that. We have an item in the bid that if we find steel that's pitted or that there's, we blast holes through it, then we'll replace a section of steel we've got a price per pound to do that.
Thank you, Lanny. Any questions for Lanny?
Which one is he suggesting that we go with?
The first one.
Number 1?
So, right.
Texas Tank Services.
So it's JK Tank Services out of White House.
I think they've done them
Can you quickly point out where they're cheaper than say 2 and 3?
Where the items themselves are cheaper.
Right. I mean,
They're almost the same price. I mean, if you're looking at it, it's
Okay.
like $363 and I'm sorry, $326 and $346. So there's not
only
much variance
20,000.
throughout.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So what are the highlighted items or the items with the stars behind them, beside them in these quotes?
So typically they made a math error, and we caught it.
Oh. And you fixed the math error in what we're seeing here, okay.
I've been waiting for you to come up here and do something good.
All right, if there's no other questions, we'll look to a motion to approve the contract.
So motion.
Got a motion from Mark,
I'll second.
second from Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Nobody, thank you. Looking forward to getting some stuff fixed, yeah. Lanny, how quick do you think after the award's made? I know you were talking about this fall.
Oh, I had the bid thing, but it's on my desk, sorry.
So typically what it takes is, we'll send the contract to them tomorrow, the next day. It takes them 10 days to get it back to us. Then once that happens, we'll schedule a pre-construction conference and they'll start, then we're gonna give them another 10 or 20 days, so it'll be 30, 45 days before they get started.
But it's pretty quick.
It
This
is pretty
something
quick
we'll-
now,
We'll see
yes.
activity soon.
Sure. And then we've given them a lot of days, it's just according to how quick they move to the site.
All right. Thank you again, Lanny. All right, we're on to discussion items. Mayor, City Council, City Administrator reports. If there's not anything pressing, I know folks would like to go enjoy some of the parade, but as well, we're here for our monthly meeting. Is there anything that needs to be?
I was just gonna mention fast, the streets we did at Meadow Park, so you might need to go drive those. The sewer line right here behind City Hall, they moved in today, so they'll be replacing that line. We cleaned the lines for the water and sewer lines on, from Super 8 all the way to the plant, in case we have water break again, they cleared trees and all that. And we got new signs at the plants, the maintenance department.
Cool.
And the American Rescue Act, the bids will be coming in October 4th. So we'll get started on the sewer plant next. That's about it.
Other than that, I look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Got a motion from
Second.
Harold, second from Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Hey, and thank you all for months of hard work on a budget getting put. All right.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I don't want to.
I think I see in the budget, there's a line item for TX something. I think it was a grant that we got for sidewalks. There's still money in there.
Oh, that's, Harold, come here. I think it's like in the back, 25,
Yeah, somewhere back there.
That is, yes. The Texas CDBG grant, is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
yes.
Okay, well, does it even show money there?
It has. What page are you on again? 20?